Hello guys, Grismo here. Uh, so at the time of recording this is Saturday morning, July 2nd, 2022. I understand it might not be that at the time that I release this video. I don't know when I'm going to do that. Obviously we had a very boring week. The price of AMC is just very stagnant. I wanted to create this video because I haven't really done this since my first video, but I wanted to have like an actual conversation with my audience, however small. I'm not making this channel to be large. I actually doubt I'll ever monetize a single video I put out in the future. None of that is my intention. My intention is just to get my viewpoint, because I wasn't really hearing it from all the videos I would see, and more of an opportunity to do due diligence with my own in the future rather than just mindlessly watching a bunch of videos. But for this video, I kind of wanted to like go back to my first video and revisit some thoughts that I had while it was fresh to me. So I actually have a letter, and I'll also mention some other I've been a part of a self-development program, you could say, self-help. So that's been part of my journey as well, but I wanted to read this first and then explain after. So this is something I wrote to myself from 2003. It might be one of the oldest things currently in my possession. I don't know. So in 2003, for reference, I was 13 years old. Oh. And it says, "Dear me in 10 years, I wonder what life you're living right now. Is your handwriting better than mine?" Slightly. But it's still bad. I'm still a lefty. Did you leave home yet? Eventually. How many years did you overcome anxiety? If you don't have it, this is in parentheses, you better have a way, very demanding, of not getting it again. I hope once you've read this, you'll give me doubts of that the following things interest, which is misspelled, you still. Half-Life 2. So this was 2003. It hadn't come out yet. I was waiting very patiently for that game to come out, which is now a distant memory. Other new games that came out to stores in the next 10 years. Counter-Strike. So Half-Life Counter-Strike is what I meant. The new one. From, and that first part's poorly erased, myself from 10 years ago. So why am I reading this on a video addressing a particular audience? Well, I want to relate this to our movement in a few ways. So number one, the person that wrote this was me when I was 13. So naturally, as someone much older, I have some things I would address with this, which can kind of be applied towards this that I've learned since then. So here's a few things I would say to myself. Number one, don't be so critical. Why are you making demands of someone much older than you that you no longer have interest of certain things? Who cares? Who cares if you still do or not? And let me explain this part for you guys, because I feel like this is missing in our audience. Number one, look around you. So look at this room that's behind me and do the same thing in your room. Go outside. This is what a lot of YouTubers say. Go outside, take a breather, look at everything. I mean, everything around you. And ask yourself, where is the meaning? Can you dissect that object you're looking at? Break it apart? Like this piece of paper, I'm not going to do it. I love this, that I have this. And dissect it. Literally point to the meaning. Where is it? It's non-existent. This is something very critical. Each one of us creates the meaning, not even someone else's. It's just yours. It exists here. Your meaning exists here. Not this person, not the next person, not the next person. Nowhere else. Nowhere. It exists nowhere except your own head. Okay? That is powerful. So, going back to this letter, I could have chosen to write so many more things to myself in 10 years, which, funny enough, was almost the future at this time was now almost 10 years ago. I could have not made so many demands of myself. Say, hey, how are you doing? I'm fascinated by the life you're living. Tell me so much about it. What type of person are you? It's like, have you gotten better with your anxiety? Are you now socializing with people more? And, you know, I could have potentially disappointed myself, but that's besides the point. The point is, I chose a worldview projecting myself out into the future another 10 years in a pessimistic way. Quite possibly one of the worst things you can do. And this just struck me right reading this again, because I've read this many times, and this never occurred to me until now. I was so pessimistic, and I'm still being this way. I can choose any day I wake up, any day. And I can decide, I am creating my own meaning here. Do I want to create a meaning that continues to be pessimistic into the next day? Or do I want to stop doing that? Why not create a meaning that's uplifting, that is building towards goals? Which I've started to do more and more recently. It's really powerful. So I kind of want to relate this back to us, which is that people get very wound up in everything that's happening out in the world, which admittedly is very bad. Things are possibly the worst, however you want to view it, than they've ever been in the foreseeable past. Let's just say the last 150 years. This is the worst year to date. There's no ignoring that. But I want to offer something, which is you still, any day you wake up, no matter how much worse it's gone since the day before, have that choice to choose a different mindset for your word and have your words literally create, not just for yourself, but other people, a different world that they can experience. You always have this power. And in fact, that's really the only power we have, because are we going to completely change the corrupt government's mind in a day or a week? No. Like, we're dealing with these advanced criminals that are experts. I wouldn't use the villain, the Joker, because I feel like that was the smartest criminal in that universe. But we could call them the Riddler. So we're dealing with the Riddler. And we've constantly sprung traps for them. And they've gotten out of it every time. So what's the trap that's finally going to catch them? We don't know. The Riddler is very smart. And they're expert criminals. That's what they do best. It's no mystery at this point. So another thing I'm never really going to do on this channel is give dates. But I will give my perspective. So I'm not going to do this very often because I don't want to get spring hate. And there's too much hopium out there as it is. But I'm just going to say, I'm not going to expect this at this point, the earliest being December, and yes, December of this year, as the earliest date for a potential squeeze. This isn't going to be one of those videos where I give my DD specifically as to why I think this, but it's just a feeling I have. And it's not even necessarily one that is meant to be hypercritical. It's just, I feel it's realistic. Based off of all the catalysts I've seen, and nothing's worked so far. So I see that at the earliest, and more realistically, it would definitely be coming next year. So there it is. I'm sorry, but that's the view that I have, and I'm open to people changing my mind, of course. I look at that as the reason why this channel exists, is why I didn't just scrap the very first video that I created. I'm open to that opinion, but that's just the opinion that I have. It's like, I'm not saying this month, which is now July. I'm not going to say August. I don't think it's going to happen in summer. September, Bigums is very confident phase 6, Pantheon isn't. But Bigums is, okay. I don't think we're going to see it. There's going to be something else that they prepared for that. October, who really knows? I think Cat System's at the end of this year. So then Cat System by the end of this year, November, December. And then that does nothing. And then we're next year. And then I don't know at what point next year. We'll have to see. But then something next year could throw off the spring. And is that going to happen? I'm not going to say one way or the other. That's just my thoughts. Aside from that, I don't know if I got to the goal of this video, if there even was one, more than to just vent. But with any, to any extent, thank you guys for listening again. It's another long video. Do enjoy your 4th of July. I currently don't have a working vehicle. My parents are not going to visit me, who they live pretty far away from me, and that's fine. I mean, there's always things like Zoom like that for that kind of stuff nowadays. So I might do that, but aside from that, I have a balcony out here where I can watch fireworks. So that's how I'm going to spend my Monday, but otherwise I'll be here. And wherever you guys are, I hope you have a very memorable 4th of July 2022 as well. And yeah, aside from that, guys, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.